Welcome to the Rinkside Rundown podcast, your ultimate destination for all things women's hockey with your host, Chris Sinclair, proud member of the Hockey Podcast Network. Hello and welcome back to the Rinkside Rundown podcast. Today, I am joined by Audrey Anne Veillette, a Canadian center, graduate of the University of Montreal, and the 89th pick overall in the inaugural PWHL draft. Audrey Anne, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you for the invite.
Absolutely. This is something I've been really looking forward to chatting with you, and I'm very excited for you to be on the show. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your very, very busy schedule to hang out with me.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so I feel like a solid starting point. I always like to go all the way back to the beginning. What made you choose hockey? What was it about hockey that you that kind of drew you in?
It's cliche, but my brother was playing hockey, so I was watching him play from the stands, and I told my parents that I wanted to start playing hockey as well, so they just put me in skate, and I never got off the ice since then.
Okay, fantastic. So you were born in Drummondville, Quebec, and I wanted to know, was hockey or were other sports big with you and your family while you were growing up?
Yeah, I've always been a very athlete person. Growing up, I played a bunch of sports. I played soccer. I played golf. I still play golf actually, and trying to stay on the course and not in the woods. So that's a challenge. But yeah, and hockey has always been my favorite sport. So I just chose hockey when I was probably 12 years old. Just a weekend, like I had a hockey tournament and a soccer tournament at the same time. So my parents were like, okay, you have to choose one sport because it's too much for us, and it's a big schedule. So I picked hockey and I stick with it.
Okay, so you bring up golf. I've only ever really golfed once in my entire life, but how is your golf game?
I would say it's good for a person that does not practice. I just come on the field and come on the course and start playing. So I'm not too bad. I would say I play in the 90s.
Okay, so would you say is your drive game better, or is it your putting? Because I know for me, my putting is way better than my drive.
Yeah, definitely my driving is better than my putting. That's where I use all my strike. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the goal is to just get it as close to the hole as possible right off the pin.
Exactly. Like drive as far as you can, and then just get as close as possible, because I can miss a 1 meter putt. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah. I feel you. You see, I'm the complete opposite. I am terrible with the drive, but then throw me into putt, and I've got you covered. So a good team there.
Yeah.
How important has your family been in supporting you throughout your hockey career?
Oh, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them. So very thankful to have my family and my friends in my life, and my family has just been so supportive every day since my birth. But yeah, they're following us. My brother has played hockey too. He played in NCAA, and so we're a big hockey family. And I think my brother and I wouldn't be here today without my parents. So very thankful for them.
Do you have any memories growing up of how, whether it was the drives to and from the rink, or, something that stands out to you in regards to your parents specifically?
Yeah, my dad built a rink behind our house when we were younger. So we just spent so much time there with my brother. So my dad would wake up in the middle of the night where it's freezing outside, and he would just put water on the ice, so it's perfect in the morning. He's that kind of dad, so he just wanted us to be happy and play hockey. So That's my favorite memory growing up.
What do you like when you reflect on those experiences or those memories rather? What does it mean to you to have, in this case, like you shared about your dad, what does it mean to you to have that sort of support and that sort of, they believed in you maybe even before you believed in yourself?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Exactly. It means the world, I think. When you have doubts in yourself, and right now I'm dealing with an injury, so you just come back to them, and they've always been there. And whether you're playing hockey or not playing hockey, they just want you to be happy. So I'm very thankful, and I think it motivates me to come back on the ice and show them what I can do, and it's a way of me to say thank you to them.
Oh, that's so incredible that that they can have that sort of, they believed in you, and now it's up to you to kind of follow through with that. Is that kind of how you, follow through on that belief that they have in you? Is that kind of how it feels?
Yeah. Yeah, like scoring big goals or just winning games, winning tournaments. It's always fun to for my parents to be in the stands. And even if we lose, I just gonna come to them and say thank you for this. Yeah,
Well, I mean, that's a perfect segue because you had the chance to play internationally a couple of times in both 2017, 2018 for Team Canada at the U18 Women's World Championships, where you won silver and bronze respectively. I'd love to know just a little bit, before we get into a little bit more of the nitty gritty of that. What was that experience like for you?
it was incredible. It's cliche, but wearing that jersey for the first time was awesome, and I just have great memories from those two tournaments. And even though we didn't win gold medal, I still just remember the people I was with, and how fun it was to play and represent your country, like around the world, just not in my little hometown. So it was incredible. Yeah,
And I mean, you kind of touched on it there a little bit, but thank you for continuing to set up these perfect segues. I appreciate that. Are you still close with those your teammates, and maybe who were some of those teammates that you connected with and bonded with a little bit more deeply over your time during your time internationally?
yeah. Of course, when I was 16 and 17 years old, I was shy and I was not speaking English much. So I was hanging out more with the Quebec people, the French people, but I still made friends from camps and from this team. And I can think about Zoe Boyd. She's from for Ottawa now. Christine de la Rovere. I played with her at camps. So there's a lot of players that I played with or against during camps or these tournaments. So when you come in, the professional league, when I came in Ottawa in November, it was fun to, know them again. It's been a couple of years I didn't see them, so it was fun to meet again.
So I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I also don't want to forget to ask. What was it like for you to have been, we don't have to talk specifically about the draft itself, the PWHL
Yeah.
draft itself. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. But what was it like? Could you expand a little bit more about what it was like to be able to be drafted onto a team that also had players that you have known and have
Yeah.
experiences with?
Yeah, I didn't know I was if I was gonna come out or no, because my situation was a bit different than other players. I was injured since this summer, and all the teams know that I was injured. I made sure that everyone knows so they don't have any surprises. And so I had no idea if I was gonna come out. So when Ottawa said my name, I didn't know who was in for Ottawa, so I just I did my little research after that, and then I saw that Clark, Mashmeyer, and Jenner were the first three players that signed there, and I know I had a great connections with them, and they're a great person. So I was very happy to be chosen by Ottawa.
Nice, fantastic. Um, Going back to your time internationally, and there was also another opportunity that we're going to get to in just a moment as well. But could you tell me a little bit more about what were some of the biggest lessons that you learned during your time internationally, and maybe a little bit too as to how your time internationally helped to shape your game as well as your career?
Yeah, I think there are big stressful moments as a young player and don't know really how to handle it. So I learned how to handle pressure and play in front of big crowds. I remember in Russia it was a big crowd against us. It was the first time I was having that, so in experiencing that. So I learned that it's pretty hard to play against let's say 3,000 people that are cheering against you. So that's one. And then I just learned later on that how hard it is to make Team Canada again. When I was younger, I made the U18 two times, and then I got invited to the U22, and I thought it would be easy to just go up and make the national team, but I realized it is not easy. So I think I just realized how lucky I was to be part of this team, and now I just want to work harder to wear this jersey again. Yeah.
Okay, fair. Yeah, absolutely. This is the part of the show that I know can be a little bit uncomfortable for players because it's not always about stats. It's about the experience. It's about your teammates, all that sort of stuff. But it is important to
Yeah.
me to be able to celebrate the type of player that you are, the stats that you have. As I had mentioned off the top, you had elected to attend the University of Montreal and to play in U Sports. And during your time in Montreal, you played in 37 games, amassed 44 points, and in your final season with the club, you finished with 26 goals, which puts you second in U Sports scoring for that season. And you also totaled 5 hat tricks during that season, and that also included 7 game-winning goals. So before I go on, that's incredible. And what does it mean to you to hear that clearly you've had such an impact on with the club as a whole, but also in during those seasons with your teammates?
Yeah. It was pretty awesome to be honest. I When I look back to that year, I had fun. Honestly, I wasn't stressed. I was nervous. I was just having fun, and I think I was well surrounded by my teammates. And I was lucky enough to be successful and put these goals. But I think I also putting in a lot of work. So it was I was happy that it was getting paid off.
Okay, fair. What went into your decision to, a lot of hockey players, especially women's hockey players, will elect to go to NCAA or to the
Yeah.
States. What went into your decision to choose U Sports, which is, again, just, staying in Canada is just not something most players elect to do. So
Yeah.
what went into that decision?
I think the biggest part of my decision, my parents helped me choose, is that I chose it for the school. Um, at that time we didn't have any professional league later on, and even though you wanna play for professional league later, and let's say for the young girls right now, they're probably aiming to do that. You always have to have a B plan because you can get injured and it can be over from one day to another. So I chose University of Montreal because it's a great school, and I'm very happy to. If I had the choice, I would probably do it again. I have a wonderful job right now, and I had the opportunity to do my internship with the Montreal Alouettes in the CFL. So that was very fun, and hopefully later I can try to be part of their team as a regular strength coach.
And we will be right back.
This episode is sponsored by Durant Barristers. Durant Barristers is a proud supporter of women's sports and is an inaugural sponsor of the Rinkside Rundown podcast. Durant Barristers provides legal services for athletes, coaches, officials, administrators, and sports associations of all sizes, from minor associations to national sports organizations and professional sports environments. We routinely assist with safe sport complaints, investigations, anti-doping, harassment, discrimination, abuse, and governance matters. We also provide representation on general civil litigation matters, including employment and business disputes of all sizes. Durant Barristers founder Aaron Durant also provides mediation and arbitration services to assist in managing disputes in a timely and affordable manner. Durant Barristers has generously offered their best ever discount to fans and supporters of women's hockey. Mention the Rinkside Rundown podcast to, wait for it, receive 15% off all your accounts with Durant Barristers for the duration of your relationship with the firm. To learn more about Durant Barristers, visit www.durantbarristers.com. That's www.durantbarristers.com. Thank you to Durant Barristers for sponsoring this episode.
And now, back to the show.
Okay, so forgive me, but I'd love to know what did you study throughout university, and how is that kind of shaped maybe what your future may be?
Yeah, I studied in kinesiology. So I have a bachelor in kinesiology, and I'm going to do my master's in exercise science also.
Fantastic. I love that. What was your experience like in U Sports, whether it's specifically with Montreal, but also just, with your coaches, with the staff, with the players? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I had a great time. I think people don't know much about U Sports, and they probably think it's less caliber than NCAA, but we played against NCAA teams during our off season. During the preseason games, we would go in the States and play against Princeton. We played against what did we play against? I don't even remember. Did we play Colgate or? Hey, that's a long time. It's only a year ago, and I don't remember. But and we did. The point is, we did well. So, yeah, I think if we would have to play in the States, we would do pretty well, I think. And I think it's a great experience, and it's a great choice also if you want to stay in Canada after your school and you don't aim to play a professional in the professional league. You have to have a B plan, and some people just go in the States and come back to, let's say, Quebec, the province of Quebec, and they can't even work because it's not transferable, and they have to do probably 2 more years of school. And so a lot of players don't know that, but I think I'm trying to explain to them that you have to have a job after hockey, so and not going back to school probably at 30 years old. So. Yeah.
So obviously that's part of the factor that went into you choosing to stay in Quebec, is that you would be able to go to university and your skills, your degree, all that sort of stuff would end up still applying there. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. And the connections I made professionally for work, I would have not made them if I was in the States. Right now I'm working, I have a job, I know a lot of people in Montreal, so I think that's valuable, and I wouldn't have that if I was studying in the States. Yeah.
Okay. And how would you, just like with your time internationally, how would you say your time playing in U Sports helped to positively impact your own hockey career?
Yeah. I think it was positive. I think we can see it on my last year of at the Carabins. It went well, and I think no matter what you choose, you have to be happy where you are. And I was very happy in the University of Montreal. So if I had the decision to make again, I would do the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. And for maybe the fans out there who haven't had the opportunity to see you play, how would you describe, and this will also help for PWHL Ottawa fans, how would you describe your style of play?
Yeah. First of all, I think I'm a goal scorer, but also I take pride in myself to not get scored on. Also, I'm a two-ways player, both offensively and defensively. I can be put in all situations. You asked me earlier what did I learn from my international experience. I think learning to have a different role was one of the answer as I think about it. I was used to play on the first line always, and power play and PK and oops, and so I learned that you can be on the fourth line and your role is different, and you have to accept it and be a good teammate. So yeah, right now I'm a two-ways player and I can play any role, so I'm ready.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's something that PWHL Ottawa fans have something to look forward to. So that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Throughout your career, even going back to your early days, before U Sports, all that sort of stuff, who were some of the mentors and idols that you used for support, that you looked up to? Yeah, again, just throughout your career.
Yeah. I think an easy one growing up is Marie Poulain. She was one of my idol growing up, but then later on, I knew the story of Anne-Sophie Bété. She plays for Montreal, and she also played for U Sport, McGill University. So that's another player that played U Sports, and she's now my friend, and I know how hard she works. And growing up, she was my idol, and then I got the chance to work with her and train with her. So and know her on a personal level, and she's still my idol. So I'm hoping to play one day with her before she retires.
What was that? What was that like to be able to? Most of us, unfortunately, don't get the opportunity to actually, work alongside or train alongside our idols. What was it like to be in her presence?
Yeah, at first I was I was very nervous. I throughout the years I learned to manage my stress and practice and with the great players. But at first I was very nervous, and I was I I was just thinking I'm very lucky to be here and practice with them. I got the opportunity when the COVID-19 hit, and I didn't have any place to practice. And Danielle Sauvageau is the manager of the Carabins of University of Montreal, so she called me, and she that's when she started Center 21.02 in Verdun. That's where we all train, and that was starting before the pandemic. So she called me and she said, "Do you want to come practice with, the big players?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'm not gonna say no to that." So packed my bags and packed my bag, and I left. I was very nervous, but looking back at it, I was very lucky and grateful to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine what must have been running through your head as you were standing next to her, looking around the room and seeing the players that were there. That must have been such an incredible moment for you.
Yeah, it was incredible, and I remember the first drill is a passing drill, and who do I end up next to is Marie Poulain. So I just go, and then my first three passes were in her skates. I was like, okay, you gotta pick it up, Audrey. Come on, and then I just pick up myself and try to make the passes on the tape. But I was very young. I was probably like 19 or something. But yeah,
Man,
that was funny.
yeah, it's those moments and those memories that you'll never forget, eh?
No, 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 no.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, we had mentioned earlier a little bit about your international career, but we're going to continue that a little bit more right now as you scored the game-winning goal for Canada in the 2023 Winter Universiade gold medal game against Japan. And I wanted to know a little bit more about, like, obviously, what was it like to score the game-winning goal first and foremost, but also what was that experience like? Again, having the opportunity to skate with Canada.
It was awesome. Honestly, it was a great tournament, and I think it would be fun to develop that tournament into a junior tournament, like a university tournament, where the NCAA comes in, and it's only their D3 team that is there, their best D3 players. So they're good, but imagine if it was their D1 players playing there, and from all countries. It would be a great showcase for us and for the national teams. But it was a great tournament, and to play alongside the best Canadian player from U Sports, we had a great team. To be honest, we think we destroyed everything, but it was fun.
Do you think, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but do you think that, now with the PWHL, with the success of the PWHL, to your point, do you think that there's not maybe there may be a little bit more incentive for universities to start looking at what it would look like to make a little bit more of a competitive tournament, as you had mentioned?
Yeah, it would be fun. It would be there's still a gap between the PWHL and the university, so I'm not sure how they're gonna handle that. And if you don't make the PWHL and you don't have any more eligibility for university, you're not playing anywhere. So there's a gap there, but I think they're gonna find a way to maybe make a little league, or I don't know, a AHL type of league. That would be fun, but or some tournaments in between the years. So it would be fun to have another showcase for the players to play in.
Yeah, and I think that's something that a lot of people have been wondering, especially, again, not to skip too far ahead with the PWHL, but a lot of people have been wondering, what's the long term, with the NHL, there's the NHL, but then there's the AHL, OHL, like there's a clear progression, and there are essentially development leagues prior to the NHL. So a lot of people have been wondering what the PWHL may do in terms of long-term success, because right now it's basically, if you're not drafted into the league, you're playing internationally, and there's no real you have to be really aware, like, what is a draft now, what does the next draft look like, because you don't have any more, you don't have any more positions available because there's no development league. So it sounds like this, your idea, I think, would work really well in order to be able to support what that development league may look like.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be fun. I don't know how they're gonna manage that, but we'll see.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
This episode is sponsored by sports nutritionist Melissa Buffunos of MB Performance Nutrition. As a former competitive hockey player turned nutritionist, Melissa's mission is to help the next generation of hockey players optimize their health and diets so they can perform their best on and off the ice. Ready to dominate on the ice? Melissa's new course, The Hockey Nutrition Blueprint, is opening soon. If you're serious about learning how nutrition can impact performance and building actionable nutrition strategies based on your unique needs as an elite hockey player, get on the waitlist today. Learn more and sign up at melissabuffunos.com/course. That's melissabuffunos.com/course. Thank you to Melissa Buffunos for sponsoring this episode.
And now, back to the show.
As I had mentioned off the top, you were drafted 89th in the PWHL draft, the inaugural PWHL draft, and were selected by Ottawa. So I wanted to know a little bit about, could you just describe sort of what was going through your head and when your name was called?
Yeah, the whole draft, I couldn't sit on my couch and watch it, so I just was doing chores in my apartment, my little apartment. So my apartment was very clean after the draft. I was so stressed. So I didn't know if I was gonna come out, so I was towards the end of the draft, I just sat down and I wait for my name to be called. And I didn't know who I was hoping for to call me in, but when Ottawa went into the stage and called my name, I was very happy and relieved that a team picked me.
Yeah, and a couple of things here is that your a lot of publications were saying that Ottawa got such a steal with you in that draft. That unfortunately a number of other organizations. I mean, the thing is, when you only have 6 teams, it's really difficult to be able to get everyone that you want. So it
Yeah,
unfortunately means some of the best players are either chosen further down than you'd expect, or they're unfortunately, put in a position where they have to play internationally. But you were considered by many to be a steal in this draft. But also, you were selected. I know that you've obviously spent most of your time in Montreal, so that may have been kind of like secretly a little bit in there, is like kind of hoping for that. But you got selected by Ottawa, which is a great bilingual market. So what is that? What did that mean to you as well?
I was very happy. It's close to my hometown, and for my parents to come visit, it would have been close if I was playing there. So it was fun. I was just hoping for a team to pick me, and either it's even though I'm from Montreal, from the Montreal area for the last couple of years, I was just hoping someone to choose me, and Ottawa did. So I really enjoyed my time there. The coaches, the place, and the fan, the city. I loved everything there. So if they would call me tomorrow, I would go back for sure.
Yeah, and it must be nice also because you're from not far from here, from Ottawa,
Hmm.
to know like there's a familiarity, right? So there's
Yeah,
right now there's a lot of things that are very unfamiliar, people going to completely different cities, completely different markets. So it must have been nice to feel a little bit of comfort knowing the area at least.
exactly. And there's also the Quebec side, just across the bridge. So I it's more familiar there, and so I would probably have lived there if I was still there. Yeah.
Fantastic. You had mentioned earlier on that you're currently injured, and I wanted to know a little bit more about, how's rehab going? How's the injury going? How you feeling these days?
I'm great. Honestly, I have been very lucky for my injury to heal perfectly as of right now. So I'm touching wood, but I'm also a big fan of believing in you make your own luck. So I've been putting in the work since day one, and I'm very happy to where I am today, and hopefully I'm gonna practice soon again. Yeah.
Okay, well, just so you know, I, as well as every one of the listeners, are tapping on wood to make sure that you're nice and healthy,
Yeah.
you're good to go, and everything continues progressing the way that it is. So I'm happy to hear that. That's fantastic.
Thank
Um,
you.
My pleasure. I'll take the credit for everyone else as well. What, what's it been like to, just as a fan, watching the PWHL? Unfortunately, obviously, as we've mentioned, you've been injured, so you haven't been able to play in the PWHL. So you're observing it a lot more as a fan. But what is this? What does it mean to you to see the PWHL received as well as it has been? And as well as like these athletes and you're seeing signs in the stands, like all these young girls super excited about these players. What does this entire moment mean to you?
Yeah. It's awesome. I didn't expect it as big as this. Honestly, I went to a couple games in Montreal and Verdun and Bell Center also, and it's great. The atmosphere is great. I'm also going to the Laval Rocket at the same rink, and it's not the same atmosphere. The women's hockey game is way more fun. The atmosphere, the music, just it's funny, but like the little girls and the little boys are dancing in the stands. They're happy. It's a great environment. And I was in the stands, and I was itching to, I was a little bit sad to be in the stands, and I'm just excited to go back out there and be on the ice this time.
Okay, good. Well, hopefully that happens sooner rather than later. That's what we're all. That's what we're all rooting for you.
And we will be right back.
I would like to take a moment to talk about our sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. Bet the action on the ice with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code THPN. New customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on hockey. That's code THPN only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The crown is yours. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. Please play responsibly. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2023, all rights reserved.
And now, back to the show.
What's next for you when it comes to hockey? So, what does the rehab process look like, if you can share, and then what's next after that?
I'm a big fan of going one day at a time, to be honest. So I'm just, it's going well right now. So I'm doing everything possible to go back on the ice as soon as possible. And I don't know about this season. We'll see. It's a business, and I would probably go back towards like the playoff and stuff. So it's late in the season. I'm probably more aiming for next season. Whichever team, I don't mind. I just want to play hockey. So I'm just hoping for next season. I'm gonna work hard every day to get a spot on the team.
Perfect. Well, again, we are absolutely rooting for you, whether hopefully that is in Ottawa or wherever it ends up being. But as long as you're playing in the PWHL, then that's all that matters. So we're all absolutely, I promise you, we're all rooting for you. So good luck in the recovery. Good luck in the off season, and good luck wherever next season brings you. Again, I hope it's Ottawa.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Now is the segment of the show where we get to learn a little bit more about you by playing a fantastic game that I put together, created entirely on my own. No one's ever heard of this game before. It's called 20 Questions. I say that in jest because obviously 20 Questions is a very popular game. But this is like a little bit of hockey, a little bit of let's get to know Audrey Anne. You interested?
All right. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Cliched hockey question, but I have to ask it. What is your go-to pregame meal?
My homemade pasta sauce, pasta and meatball sauce. Yeah.
Okay, so you make your own pasta sauce.
Yeah. So you
Okay.
handle the spices and stuff, so you can digest it perfectly, and then you're ready to go on the ice.
Okay, so maybe I'm overstepping here for a moment, but are you able to tell us this recipe that you've made?
It's a big secret. It's my mom's recipe.
Oh, nothing beats mom's recipes, so that's
Exactly.
fair.
I'm not as good as my mom, but I'm trying, and hopefully in the next 20 years I'm gonna be able to make one as good as hers.
It never feels like despite or in spite of how hard you try, it just never tastes as good as mom makes it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll keep that secret airtight, so no worries. What would do you have any game day superstitions? So when you're playing hockey, do you have any game day superstitions where you have to, maybe you're wrapping your stick before every game, or any rituals that you go through?
Not really. It's more of a routine. I always do the same thing, and I'm not worried about. I'm not stressed. I'm not worried about putting my left gear before my right, and I'm not that type of person. I was before, and it was getting into my head. So no, I'm not that kind of person. But I like to have a routine and get a coffee in the morning and just take it easy.
All right. Well, this begs the question, and this is why I never tell you exactly how many questions I'm going to ask because they always come up as we talk. What do you take in your coffee?
A vanilla latte.
All right, there we go. Sounds good. What is your go-to pump up music? And this can apply whether it's game day and you're like, I just got to get in the zone, or as you'd mentioned, cleaning your apartment.
Drake. Yeah.
Okay. Do you
On
have a specific
Spotify,
album?
I just put "This Is Drake," so it's all of his songs, and I just put it on repeat nonstop every game day, every day.
All right, there we go. There we go. You had kind of mentioned this earlier, but I'd love for you to expand on it a little bit more. If you weren't playing hockey, you had mentioned that you might want to get into specifically you'd mentioned the CFL, but what would you want to be doing if you weren't playing hockey?
I would, yeah, I'm gonna stick with my same answer. I would train the Montreal Alouettes. I love the football world, and I could go in the NFL also. It's a big dream, but it's still possible.
Oh, I love it. And now more than ever, you're seeing such a shift to showcasing the incredible women who are having such an impact on the league off the field. So absolutely, let's make sure we make that happen. I love that.
Yeah.
Specifically though, what role would you play, and what would where would that take you?
I would be a strength coach, so I would manage their training in the gym, and in the Montreal Alouettes, I was also managing their rehab and strengthening them to make sure they're back on the field.
And I'm assuming that the fact that you have been injured and are going through a rehab process would absolutely help you in supporting them and being able to connect with them on a more than just a, hey, you should do this. It's like, hey, I did this.
Yeah, absolutely. More on the mental side, I think it's a huge part of an injury, of a big injury. It's managing your thoughts and how you handle the situation. It's easy to fall into a negative pattern, but I think having the right people to surround yourself with is a huge part of recovery process. And if I can be one of the person that help a player go back on the field again, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and it's not always just about the people you have in your personal life. It's also having a good support system,
Yeah,
doctors, all that sort of stuff who really relate to you. So I love to
exactly.
hear that. That's, yeah, 100%, absolutely. Um, if you were just relaxing, it's not a game day, it's just a chill day for Audrey Anne.
Yeah.
How do you unwind?
I would start by playing Scrabble on my phone. Huge fan of Scrabble Go. It's easy. You can play against your friends. You can beat your friends. It's very fun. I would probably just relax and watch a show on Netflix and take it easy.
Okay, I need to know what's a show you're currently watching right now that it's like a guilty pleasure that you just really enjoy. You
Yeah.
throw on and you just really enjoy it.
I was having a hard time finding a Netflix show because I watched 3 times Grey's Anatomy, and I cannot watch it a fourth time. That would be, a little shame. But
Yeah.
Doctor House is back on Netflix.
Mm.
It's a show that has been created in, I think, the 2010s, and I was watching it with my mom when I was younger, and now it's on Netflix, so I'm just starting it again.
Oh, that's fantastic. I actually just recently made it through like the first 5 seasons of it. I love
Yeah,
that show. It's such a great show. So good call out.
yeah.
And lastly, what is something about you that a casual fan might not know?
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, okay. I was not ready for that one. Like
Surprise.
personality wise, or
Whichever. If you want to share something about your game, that's cool. If it's something like, yeah, I typically every Sunday I hit up the farmers market, or wherever you want to land on that, this is totally up to you.
oh my god, This is hard.
Mm.
A fan might not know. Boy.
I like to make sure that I stump you at least once a show.
Yeah. Okay. Boy. I already said that I love coffee, and I'm on a hunt in Montreal to go to every coffee shops once a week and try their pancakes if they have. Like, I'm a big fan of pancakes, and my pancakes are good. So it would probably be my breakfast meal before a game, like in the morning.
Okay. Do
Yeah.
you have, at this current moment, do you have like a top maybe 3, or at least a top, like your top pick for pancakes in Montreal?
Definitely, I would recommend September in Montreal.
Mm.
It's
Mhm.
in like the Saint Henri area, Verdun area. It's like, you're not gonna be disappointed for sure. It's the best pancakes. Is the best coffee shop in Montreal. And yeah, I'm trying to go not too often because my account, my money account is not gonna like me. But it's the best coffee shop.
Yeah. Yeah. It's worth it in the moment, and that's what matters. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
All
what
right.
you work for,
Yes, you're just working for the pancakes. I feel you.
Just working for the pancakes, nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely. Audrey Anne, as we wrap up things today, I just wanted to say once again how much I appreciate you taking some time. As I had mentioned, you have a very, very busy schedule right now, rehab, work, all that sort of stuff. You found some time to hang out with me, and I just wanted to say thank you so much. I've honestly, I've really enjoyed this, so thank you.
Thank you for the invite, and hopefully we're gonna catch up in 1 year from now, and I'm gonna be playing the league.
Oh, there we go. I love that. Yes, and we will, and I cannot wait for that moment. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I promise that you'll be back.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And there you have it, folks, for Audrey Anne Veillette. I'm Chris Sinclair, and this has been the Rinkside Rundown podcast. Cheers.